Hey everyone, welcome to my new tutorial. Today I want to show you how you can make this nice forest diorama scene with the tree stump and some fallen leaves lying around to match the season. And I really hope you will enjoy this one, and if you do, please don't forget to leave a like, it will really help my channel to grow. And if you're new to the channel and you'd like to see content like this in the future, please hit that subscribe and additionally bell button if you want to get notified when I release something new. And if you're new to the world of 3D and Blender, and you want to become a 3D illustrator, go and check out my courses that are carefully designed to teach you beginner and intermediate skills in quickest and most effective way. For example, with the new Ultimate 3D bundle, you can go from simple cubic designs all the way to full character illustration in a matter of weeks. So if you're interested, please go check out the link in the description. Let's jump right into empty Blender file, and first of all let's remove the default cube and the light. So I will just drag the selection, press X and hit delete, and now we'll start with the circle. So let's press Shift A and let's add a circle, and let's go and reduce the number of vertices to something like 12. That should be enough for now. And let's now tab into the edit mode and we can just start extruding. So let's press E and Z for extrusion on Z axis and just drag it up like this. Now we can press S to scale it down, and this will be the basic proportions of our tree stump. So we can now just press Ctrl R and create a new loop cut here in the middle. If you have more cuts or something, you can reduce the number of them with the mouse wheel and just click somewhere here and right click to release, and we can press S to scale this down just like that. Now press 2 for edge select or go here and switch it, and let's select some of these edges. So first of all I will select this one, then leave 2 of them out and select the next, and I will go like this all around until we have 4 edges selected, and we can press S then Shift Z to lock this on X and Y axis and just scale it out just like that. Okay, that should be enough. And now to make things a little bit more interesting, we can select some of these edges in the back and press G then Z and move it up just like this. Now let's alt click the loop, press F to fill, don't worry about that ugly end-on, and now just press I for inset and do inset like this, and now E then Z to extrude this down, and now S then Z and 0 to flatten it out and confirm with the enter key, and we can now press G then Z and move this up and press S to scale it inside a little bit. And now what I want to do is to press P and separate the selection. I want to separate that into a different object, and right now we can just tab out and press Ctrl 2 to add the subdivision modifier, or you can do that here in the modifiers panel. You can see it added right there. And now tab back into the edit mode and we'll try to stylize this a little bit better to create like a cartoonish tree bark or something like that. So first of all let me just select these edges all around. There's a nice shortcut for that, so let's hold Alt and Control and click here, and you will see all of these edges all around are selected. And now we'll press Alt, Control and additionally Shift to add to that selection. It's a little bit handful, and just click another edge, one more right here and one more here. So you can see this way we can easily select edges like that. And now let's press Ctrl B to bevel this, and you can hold Shift for smaller increments, and let's create just small bevels just like that. And now without clicking anywhere, just switch to the face select by pressing 3 or select it here, and let's press Ctrl I to invert the selection, and we'll press Alt E and extrude faces along normals and just extrude it outside like this, and you will see that nice structure that it gives us. So something like this should be fine. And now to make this a little bit more sharp, we can press Ctrl R to add another loop right here and just bring it up, and do the same on the inside right here. And now if you tab out, right click and shade smooth, you have a nice stylized tree bark. And right down here we can make this look a little bit nicer. So let's tab in and we'll try to make a little bit nicer ending here. So let's hit 2 for edge select and alt click this loop all around, and we'll try to round it up a little bit better. And for that I will use Loop Tools add-on. If you don't have it activated, just go to the Edit, Preferences, search for Add-on section and activate Loop Tools add-on. If you have trouble understanding me, you can find the name of the add-on in the description. And now if you right click and choose Loop Tools, you can choose the circle option, and you should get something like this, which is much nicer. So let's rotate it around the Z axis like this using R and then Z. and we can press G then Z and drag it down a little bit. And then we can select some of these edges, activate the proportional editing and press G then Shift Z to move them around like this to get that original shape more pronounced. That should be enough. And now let's alt click the loop once again and press E then Z to extrude it down. Don't forget to disable proportional editing and press S to scale it inside, so we have a little bit of the rounded ending there. So now if we press Shift A and add a plane, we can scale it up, and this nicely connects with any background you lay it on. And of course you can go into the edit mode, press A to select all, and press G then Z and bring it up to, you know, bring out a little bit more of that curvature on the bottom. So that will be the base of our scene, and you can see right here we have that original circle, and we can tab into the edit mode, press A to select all and just drag it up, and then press S to scale it out to fill this area. So now we have a nice stylized tree stump, and let's add some of those leaves and rocks and stuff like that. So I will shift right click the cursor here and press Shift A, and let's add a plane. I will press 7 on a numpad to look from the top, tab into the edit mode, press S to scale this down like this. And now let's press 1 for vertex select these vertices on top and press G then Y and move it up just like this. And now scale it down tiny bit and press Ctrl R to create a loop cut right here and place it somewhere here, so the leaf starts here, and now we'll create the shape. So first of all I will press Ctrl R to create a cut in the middle here as well, and right click to release, and then zoom in a little bit and select all of these vertices, press X and delete them, and in the modifiers panel I will add mirror modifier and choose clipping. So now we can select 2 of these on the right, press E to extrude and scale them down. So this will be the base of our leaf. And now we can press Ctrl R to create 3 cuts here in the middle. We can select these vertices here, press G to move them out slightly, and now switch to the edge select by pressing 2, select this edge right here, press E to extrude and S to scale down, and we'll repeat this process for all of these edges on the side there, just like that. And now tab out and press Ctrl 2 to add subdivision modifier, and you have a nice leaf shape like that. And we can tab back into the edit mode, go to the top view, and now with the vertex select active by pressing 1 we can just select these vertices and move them around to create a shape that we like for our leaf. Maybe make this here a little bit rounded and push these outside. You can do that by pressing G twice and then, you know, slide them around. But so far I'm satisfied with this, so I'll just add another loop cut right here to make this a little bit sharper there and here as well. And now select these 2 vertices, press O for proportional editing, or just click there, press G then Z and move this up like this with quite a large fall off, and I'm adjusting the fall off with the mouse wheel just like that. And now I will just bring this closer a little bit like this and reduce the fall off. Okay, and now let's look from the side, press A to select all and move it down here so it kind of matches here the origin point, so it looks like it's growing from there. And we can press Alt E and extrude faces along normals to give this some volume, actually like this. Tab out, right click and shade smooth. Now if you tab back in, we can add some additional detail by going to the edge select by pressing 2, selecting these edges. Don't forget to turn off the proportional editing and press G then Z and move it down, so we have a little bit of detail here in the middle. And now we can choose face project from the snapping options and choose project individual elements. And now if you press G and hold Ctrl, you can snap this origin point to the tree bark, and now press R then Z and rotate it like this, and press S to scale it down. And we can duplicate it, so press Alt D to create link duplicate, hold Ctrl and snap it somewhere here, and rotate to the side and make it a little bit smaller. Now since we left the camera in place, we can hit 0 on a numpad to check our scene, and this looks quite okay. So let's select the camera by clicking on the frame, press G then Z and move it up a tiny bit. And I think this could be a little bit rotated, so let's select these 2 leaves, look from the top and press R to rotate it and move them here somewhere. so they're kind of growing from the side there. I think this looks much better. And now let's create some kind of mushroom right here. So let's shift right click the cursor and look from the side, and we'll press shift A and let's add another circle. Let's tab into the edit mode, go for vertex select by pressing 1 and press S to make this smaller like that. And now we can just control right click here, press S to make it smaller, control right click once again, S to make it smaller, and here we'll go a little bit larger, and here larger still. We can press G and R to rotate it additionally, and now we can do one more, make it a little bit smaller, press F to fill, I to inset, and then look from the side again. Now we can enable X-ray view and control right click here, press S to scale it down, and one more right here. So that'll be the shape of the mushroom. And let's now disable the X-ray view and press Ctrl 2 to add subdivision modifier. Now we can make the bottom around it again, so tab into the edit mode, alt click the loop down there and press F to fill. And now we can press A to select all and G then Z to place it a little bit lower, and maybe Ctrl R and create a loop cut right here to make this a little bit sharper there. Tab out, right click, shade smooth, and there's your mushroom. We can press G and hold Ctrl to place it somewhere on the ground, and scale it up and down. And now Alt D and holding Ctrl, we can snap another one, press R, then Z, and then scale this down. So we have nice mushrooms in our scene. Let's look from the camera, and I want them to be a little bit rotated, so let's press R, then Z, and rotate them like this, and maybe place them somewhere here to the side, just like that. Now I'll select one of these leaves, press Shift D this time, and just hold Ctrl to place them on the plane. And the reason why I'm holding Shift, not Alt, I don't want them to be linked because I want to make changes here. So let's go to the top view and press Alt R to reset its rotation, and tab into the edit mode, and we can now enable X-ray and select these vertices at the bottom. Hit Ctrl plus to add to the selection and press X and delete vertices. So we have something like this here. Maybe bring this back up and select these 4 vertices and press F to fill them, so we can end the leaf right there. Now press A to select all, look from the side, and just place it like this. It will be easier to snap it on the ground. Tab out, and now let's disable the X-ray view and just rotate it however you want. Press G, then hold Ctrl to snap it. And now if you press Alt D and hold Ctrl, you will snap the new one on top of the first you created. And now you'll just need to manually move it around, rotate it and snap it. So you have kind of a leaves laying on top of each other. And now select these two, press Alt D and press G, then Shift Z to move them somewhere here. Press R, then Z and rotate them so we get some variation. And now we can select one of those, press Alt D again, and just move it to the side and adjust the rotation a little bit. So again, we have some variation with these. Okay, let's look from the camera view, and I quite like this so far, and I think this needs some kind of rock or something. Let me place the camera a little bit lower. So for the rock, this will be pretty easy. Let's press Shift A and let's add a cube. Now I'll press slash on a numpad to go to the local view. You can see it active right here. And now press Ctrl 1 to add a subdivision modifier, and we'll apply it right away. So let's hit this little arrow and click apply. And now if we go into the edit mode, we can press S, then Z to scale it down a little bit. And I will use the bisect tool here. So let's locate the knife tool here and click and hold to switch to bisect. And now I'll just go around and make sure you have everything selected with A, and just make a cut like this and choose clear outer and fill, and you have a cut like that. Now I'll press A again to select all and a new cut, and basically depending on where this arrow points, you will need to choose inner or outer, and you will see how that works. Okay, and now I'll just go ahead and fast forward until I have some rock that I'm satisfied with. You can do the same. Okay, I quite like this, so I will now switch back to the select box, tab out, and let's add some bevel here and increase the number of segments to 3, and we can leave the amount as large as it can be and right click and shade smooth. So this will be our stylized rock. Now we can press slash on a numpad once again, press G, and by holding Control we can move the rock somewhere here, press S to scale it down, and use Alt D and place some of these rocks around, you know, to make nice variations like that. I think this will be okay. Let me reposition the camera a little bit and let's make the background a little bit larger. And there are a lot of things you can do right here. You can add some grass, or you know, you can just shift right click to place the cursor on the tree stump, press shift A, and let's add a circle, for example. That's the one more thing I will show you. And now let's change the number of vertices to 16. Let's tap into the edit mode, and in the X-ray I will just delete some of these vertices here. Press A to select all and F to fill. Now I'll press E to extrude and S to scale it down like this. Now I'll disable the X-ray, tab out and press Ctrl 2 to add subdivision modifier, right click and shade smooth. And we have another type of mushroom, you know, the kind that is hanging on the trees. And we can now press Alt D and duplicate some of these around to have some nice variation. Okay, so that's for the modeling, and now let's add some materials and light. That will be pretty straightforward. So let's go to the render settings, let's switch to the cycles, enable GPU and some denoising, and now I'll press Ctrl B to limit the preview only for the camera bounce, and now hold Z and view rendered. Now let's hold Shift S and reset the cursor to world origin, and let's press Shift A and let's add a light, and I'll choose area light. Press G then Z and move it up like this, and let's make it stronger, something like 1500, so it's really strong. Maybe not so much, so let's choose something like 500. And now let's switch this to disk, so we have a nicer fall off there. And let's now select the tree bark, and I will go into the material settings, create a new material and choose some color like this, and increase the roughness just like that. And now the inside should be like a brighter tone or beige or something like that. And let's choose these mushrooms. These should be like a brown, but clearly distinct from the tree. And now the mushrooms, they can be a little bit more orange, so we have some nice contrast in there. And again, we'll increase the roughness there, make this a little bit brighter maybe. And if you want to make it look nice and organic, you can just hit Ctrl C, hovering over the base color, and paste it into subsurface color and increase the subsurface value, and you will see how the light is starting to go through that surface, so that gives a little bit more organic feel. And then you can play with the outer color a little bit more. And now let's select the leaf here, create a new material, and we'll create like a nice fresh color. Like these are the leaves that just grew, and these are probably the last of the season to grow, and these on the ground will be all different colors. So first of all, let's select the rocks and create some kind of like a little bit of a blue tint, gray color like this, and increase the roughness there as well. Now let's select the background and let's give this a little bit green color just like that. And we'll see about the final coloring later when we play with the lights a little bit more. So now let's select the leaf and let's go to the shading menu, and we'll create a node setup that will assign these colors randomly. So let's create a new material here, and first of all let's press Shift A and let's go converter and color ramp. We'll create it right here and switch this to constant and hit the plus icon a few times. I don't know, I think 4 should be enough. So let's spread it out like that, and now choose the first one, and for example choose some nice, you know, autumn colors, something earthy, something like that, and we'll move this around a little bit. So we have some colors, and now we'll press Shift A, choose input, and let's choose object info, and let's drag the random to the factor and color to the base color of the material. And you should see these random colors assigned to these linked objects. And now let's increase the roughness a little bit, and let's switch back to the layout view. And now let's just play with the light a little bit more. So first of all, I will select this light here, press Shift D to duplicate it, and let's go here and let's switch the pivot to the 3D cursor, and I will press R, then X, and minus 45 degrees. So it's tilted from the angle, and now R, then Z, and rotate it from the back. So we'll create a little bit of a backlight, and now let's give this some warmer tone, just like this, and increase to 1500. This one can be a little bit stronger, and now we can play with the height, or just press G then Z twice to move it back a little bit. So we get this nice gradient on top, and now in the world color we can increase the lightness of the whole scene and play with the color, so we blend those materials a little bit together with that blue color in the shadows. So that's it for the scene. I really like this, and again, there are a lot of things that can be added. You can create stylized grass or whatever you like, basically, but this should be enough to keep you going with the techniques you just learned. And if you want to learn more, be sure to check out those links in the description. And we now have a new Discord server, so if you join it, you will find like-minded people who want to learn 3D there. Just come and join. You know, you can share your work, ask questions around, or just hang out and have a good time. So I'll be happy to see you there. So again, I really hope you enjoyed this one, and if you did, please don't forget to leave that like. And again, if you're new and want to see more, hit that subscribe. Thank you all for watching, and have a wonderful day.